Properties like these in the range of 60, 80, 100, 150 million dirhams, they are typical trophy assets. They are generational heirlooms. You're in the sky villa, or sky mansion better said, in terms of the sizes. Plus you have the amenities, the facilities, the whole hospitality experience. We had the 5-bedroom duplex sky mansions selling for 59 and 62 million dirhams. So their bespoke craftsmanship, their sophisticated art-driven approach is rooted into their DNA. Bonjour, hello, welcome back to Deals with Simon. Ladies and gentlemen, let's embark on the journey of the Rings by PMR, an ultra-exclusive development consisting only of 12 residences, which either come as a duplex or a triplex. This is something for an extremely discerning buyer, for someone who is looking to be surrounded by multimillionaires to live at the highest level of residential experiences, or someone who's looking for a legacy investment for generations to come. This product combines it all when it comes to the architecture by Foster Partner, when it comes to the position, the actual location on Dubai Water Canal, the future billionaires row of Dubai, when it comes to the interiors, when it comes to the materials, the brands which are involved. This is something which I call a dream home. With that being said, let's get into it. Let's enjoy the broad film.
Take a breath, open your eyes, it's a beautiful life. Take a step, arms out wide, into the sunlight. This whole big world is ours. This whole big world is ours. Do you feel what I feel? There's a song all around us. I can hear it in the air. It's like magic.
Now, before we directly dive into the details of this stunning and unique concept, let me give you a quick background story about the developer, because it's ultimately extremely important to understand who do we trust with such a bold vision. Now, when it comes to PMR, the chairman, Mr. Tomov, was starting already back in 2008, 17 years ago, with crafting and delivering those unique ultra-luxury experiences across Europe. So their bespoke craftsmanship, their sophisticated art-driven approach is rooted into their DNA. And coming to Dubai, he wanted to set a new benchmark for sky mansions, for sky palaces directly on a waterfront destination. And this is why the Rings is their flagship development and why they put in so much attention to detail. The biggest USP is certainly the privacy and exclusivity. Only 12 iconic residences, which are divided into 2 buildings. So we find 6 exclusive units in building A and 6 units in building B. And that allows you enormous privacy, because ultimately you only have 5 neighbors. And since the entry ticket into this development is 59 million dirhams, which equals approximately 60 million US dollars, that means that you're only surrounded by multimillionaires, by centimillionaires, or even billionaires. And that gives you an enormous investment value as well, because the assets are extremely resilient. None of your neighbors is ultimately going to be forced to sell off the properties once there's a little bit of a financial downtrend, because of the massive wealth that everyone concludes in this building. And this is why we see so much value for money, because the Dubai Water Canal in itself, the future billionaire row of Dubai, is another added value for this iconic development. Let's understand where exactly we are positioned on the Dubai Water Canal to understand the neighboring buildings and especially the infrastructure around in depth. And therefore we're using Google Maps as usual. What we see right in front of us is obviously the Burj Khalifa district, consisting of downtown Business Bay and DFC. And the water canal actually starts over here in the creek and it continues all the way along Business Bay. And then we find the E11 exactly here. This is the Sheikh Zayed Road, the main highway that connects all the Emirates and is probably the most important road in the whole UAE. And the Dubai Water Canal is exactly positioned over here, what I'm marking right now. So it consists of 3 different districts. I already made a separate video where I'm explaining the water canal in depth, in detail. It's an absolute must watch to understand why it is one of the top 3 future billionaire locations. But basically the first district is the Safa district, where we have the Safa Park here. And then exactly in between these 2 roads, which is number 1, the Al Wasl Road, the D92, and the other road is the D94, the Jumeirah Road. This is the Jumeirah district. And the final district of the water canal is actually the Peninsula, which is developed by H&H, where I find Rosewood, Capella, Aman, the most famous and most incredible hospitality brands of this globe, okay? And now let's get into the actual plots, the actual location of the Rings, which is exactly here, okay? The Rings sits right in between the Mr. C residences, which we have here, which is already completed and established. And on the right side, the neighboring buildings here, which is exactly on the plot in the corner, is the Melgrano, which consists of 12 exclusive residences plus 1 penthouse. And there we have a pedestrian bridge. Okay, super beautiful. And towards the left side, we find the iconic Four Seasons private residences Dubai Water Canal, where we saw sensational capital appreciation already in the past. And this is basically the whole location. It's absolutely prime. The infrastructure is incredible because within a few minutes, you are on the beach side. Within a few minutes, you are directly back in the downtown. And that's basically it for the location. The architects of Foster & Partners are known to create architectural landmarks across the world. They are behind the Apple headquarters in California, the Gherkin Tower in London, and many more of these unique buildings. And here in Dubai, they came up with something absolutely sensational. Because look at the architecture of the rings. The whole concept, the architecture itself, is based on these layered ring forms, which are curving the outward of the building, which gives it a very aesthetic vibe. And especially with the floating terraces and the glass facades, which we can see here, especially with the double-height living area. What immediately sticks out is this gorgeous infinity pool, which connects both the buildings, where we have building A over here and building B is considered over here. And in front of us, we find the boardwalk of the Dubai Water Canal, and they elevated the area 3 meters, so the pool is basically overlooking the canal, and none of the people who are walking here can actually disturb your privacy, which is very smart. When we're speaking about the amenities, especially at the ground floor level, where we find a dramatic arrival experience, we have a dedicated gym in both the buildings. So basically you're only sharing the gym, the amenities, the shared amenities with your 5 neighbors, pure privacy here as well, okay? We find a wellness and beauty center, we find a world-class spa, we find a yoga area. So literally everything which you want to have at the high level when it comes to wellness, sustainability and lifestyle is given over here. Let's finally dive into the iconic residences. Let me give you all the details which you've been waiting for. In front of us, we find an exclusive collection of 8 duplex sky mansions and 4 triplex sky palaces. In building B, we have the 5-bedroom duplex sky mansions, 4 pieces in total, and they span over 9,600 to 9,900 square foot in total size. And on top, left and right, we find the 6-bedroom sky palace, triplex sky palace sitting here, okay, with a size in between 14,600 and 15,100 square foot. Let's head over to building A, where we have the same concept. Here we have the 6-bedroom sky mansions, and the sizes are a little bit bigger. They are in between 11,600 and 12,700 square foot. And again, on top, we have the 7-bedroom sky palaces sitting here. They are triplexes, and the size here is ranging between 19,100 and 19,800 square foot. So the whole concept is built on large and spacious sizes, like you're living in your own standard villa, just with the addition that you can enjoy the breathtaking views because you're elevated, you're in your sky villa or sky mansion, better said, in terms of the sizes. Plus you have the amenities, the facilities, the whole hospitality experience. So you're combining both the factors in one, and this is a perfect product in my opinion for someone who is looking for a standard villa, to have the privacy, to have the space, but wants to have the connectivity to the city center, plus wants to have the hospitality experience. And that's why I said initially, it combines it all. This is the exact model of the triplex sky palace, and I'd just like to add one little detail when it comes to the exteriors, because ultimately the full ceiling height is 3.5 meters, and the double height ceilings here, especially in the open living area, they are 8 meters, and that allows you enormous natural light and volume coming into the properties, and that obviously elevates the views and the overall life experience, especially when you're here in your pool and especially when enjoying your sunset in the late afternoon. Real quick, if you see yourself living in such an iconic development, or you're looking for a legacy investment for generations to come, and you want to discuss all of that personally with me, then this is the perfect foundation for a private one-on-one consultation. So kindly click the link below this particular video and go through these simple quiz questions, which allow me to understand more about your custom requests and prepare myself for the meeting. And in this private one-on-one consultation, we can discuss several topics and actually find out if this is the perfect match for yourself. With that being said, book the call, and now let's get back into the video and let's enjoy all the action. Let's speak about the views for a second, because they are going to be unobstructed forever. And the reason is the backside is completely leasehold and they're low-rise buildings, so no one can rip them off and actually build another high-rise tower. And that leads to the fact that you are enjoying 180 degrees dual aspect views, especially in the morning when it comes to the sunrise. You're looking towards the Burj Khalifa, and when it comes to the sunset in the late afternoon, in the early evening, especially when you're like relaxing here in your private pool, you're looking towards the canal, you're looking towards the Safa Park, and obviously the coastline of Dubai, especially with the Burj Al Arab. This is absolutely breathtaking, and due to the fact how both the buildings are structured and the bend of the canal that allows both the buildings from the backside to look towards downtown and from the front side towards the actual southern part, towards the coastline. And this gives it such an experience, especially when it comes to the views.
Every now and then, a really special masterpiece is created. Tonight, we reveal The Rings by PMR. Founded by Paulin Tomov, who envisioned an architectural masterpiece brought to life by Foster and Partners. And only a fortunate few can truly experience it. Let us celebrate tonight this extraordinary venture together. As we reveal the intricacies of what will make this project truly iconic.
Let's embark on a quick 360-degree tour through the whole building. We start at the private air-conditioned garage all the way up to the top floor with the rooftop infinity pool of the Triplex Sky Palace. Let's enjoy it. Let's quickly understand the investment potential of the rings in particular, because properties like these in the range of 60, 80, 100, 150 million dirhams, they are typical trophy assets. They are generational heirlooms and they're oftentimes passed down to future generations. And this is exactly the mindset that we have to have when it comes to acquiring these homes and basically then reselling them. A long-term time horizon of 5, 10, 15 years is ideal. So let's directly get into the registered transactions of the developer in the year of 2025, where we have 3 examples. Let's look at the KPIs, the exact numbers, and then directly comparing it to the Four Seasons private residences right next to it, which is already established, handed over, and where we find reasonable resale transactions to have a direct benchmark. So in building B, we had the 5-bedroom duplex Sky Mansions selling for 59 and 62 million dirhams on a price per square foot of 6,900 as well as 7,100 dirhams per square foot. And in building A, we had the 7-bedroom triplex Sky Palace selling for 118 million dirhams. A price per square foot of 6,800 dirhams was achieved here, okay? So that is an extremely reasonable price per square foot for such a product, and you can see the massive demand, the massive appetite of ultra luxury trophy assets, which already be acquired here in this particular development, as well as one transaction which happened in 2024 already, okay? As well as 3 units which are right now in the active sales process, which are booked. So that shows you that more than 50% of the whole building is actually already going, and this is extremely good in terms of like what's the liquidity behind such an asset and a lot of movement. And now let's get over to the Four Seasons private residences, where we had 4 resale transactions in the year 2025, and you can see that the price per square foot reached 14,600 and 14,800 dirhams per square foot with 2 individual transactions, and the sizes of these assets are nowhere near comparable because we can see here 2,400, 3,800 and 5,700 square foot as a total size. Only this particular asset, which was resold for 140 million dirhams, had a size of 9,400 square foot. So even that was probably a penthouse was lower in size, was smaller compared to the smallest unit in the rings. Can you believe that? Okay, and these are the kind of numbers which you can see. So in between 9,000 and 15,000 dirhams per square foot is the resale market right now in the Four Seasons, and we are still in the year 2025, the year 26, 27, 28. I'm expecting so much wealth flowing into Dubai, specifically into this stretch of land. Then we have the peninsula, okay, where we have these incredible brands where there's so much value gain. All of the buildings which are about to hand over in 28, 29, 2030 on the Dubai Water Canal. This will add so much more value. So in the rings, prices of 10, 12, 14 dirhams per square foot are absolutely reasonable when it comes to a long-term time horizon. I'm speaking about 2030 and upwards. Let's summarize this in-depth breakdown of the iconic development, The Rings by PMR, which is certainly reserved for the chosen ones. This is something for a typical legacy asset collector. This is something for you, for yourself, if you're looking for a stunning home that is enormously spacious and private at the same time and considered as an absolute trophy asset. Whatever your main objective might be, if you want to discuss these kind of opportunities with me privately, then this is the perfect foundation for a private one-on-one consultation. Kindly click the link below this particular video and go for a couple of these quiz questions that I put together, which is very much a personalized, customized experience that gives me some insights upfront as a preparation for our call, because time is everything and that allows us maximum time efficiency, and it opens up your mind what's really possible and what's potentially the perfect solution for you, for yourself, with your custom requirements. So kindly click the link below and go for the questions, book in a private call, and I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you in Dubai.